Hello, everybody. Drew Lindgren here, talking to you about car detailing and how to run your car detailing business, what I've learned. Today, we're going to be talking about W 2 employees or 1099 independent contractors. What should you do, pros and cons of each, and my experience with each. So, let's get to it. If you don't know, W 2 W 2 employees are considered real employees of your company. They usually have company shirt. They're using company equipment. They're using company vehicles, company chemicals, and they are under full control of the company. While a 1099 independent contractor will tend to use their own equipment, their own vehicles, their own chemicals. They can wear whatever they want, and they're just taking jobs from the company. Now, it can be a little complicated. There's tax differences with both. For example, if you have W 2 employees, you have to withhold taxes from them. You have to withhold that and then put that into their paycheck, right? You calculate that within their paycheck, right? With the 1099 employee, you can just write them a straight check for however you pay them, whether it's hourly, whether it's commission per job, whatever the case is. So there's definitely some differences. I will first go over W 2, my experience, then I will go over 1099, my experience, what I do now, and why. So, W 2, I started with a W 2 system. I started with a system where everyone was wearing my apparel, everyone was driving my vans, everybody was using my chemicals, using my equipment, everything was on the company dime. And I did that for April, May, and June, and then partially July of 2025 this summer. And I withheld taxes, and I also I'm trying to think what else I did. Provided company insurance. So with all of that, why? What was good about it? What was bad about it? What was good about it is that it's pretty standard. A lot of people were not confused with the system. Majority of jobs that you will see that you will apply for personally if you are going into jobs that people want are W-2s. So it's very standard. You knew exactly what you were getting. People were not using their own stuff, and people don't usually like to use their own stuff if they don't have to. So that was good for them. It's very easy to find employees if you're doing a W-2, to be honest with you. So it was a very simple plug and play system. That was the nice part about it. The bad part about it is you have to calculate payroll more, right? You have to withhold Medicare, federal taxes, state taxes, all that stuff. You also have to provide, of course, provide more stuff. You have to provide all the equipment, provide the van, provide the chemicals, and that is a large sum up front that you could be using elsewhere within the business. What else was a downside of W 2 here? W 2 was a lot of people can take advantage of the W 2 system, right? Because everything is on the company dime, especially if you're paying hourly. A lot of people can take advantage. Hey, everything's on the company dime. I'm getting paid per hour. I'm going to spread this job as long as I can. So that is one disadvantage of it. Honestly, I was not a huge fan of the W 2 system for car detailing. I think that for mobile car detailing, I should say, W 2 system, I understand in a dealership, right? A W 2 system is very ideal, but for mobile car detailing, I don't think it worked out for us as well as the 1099. So the 1099, this is what we run now. 1099 system is everybody has their own vehicle, their own detailing setup, their own equipment, their own chemicals. Everything is their own. And one thing about that is that it's very nice. For me, I found it a lot easier to scale. I found it a lot easier because I'm worrying about less things. Now, I pay for a commission. And so the way I transitioned this from W 2 to 1099 is I said, hey, we're going to pay by commission now. Our commission rate is 45%, which is more than fair at the end of the day. These folks they're getting jobs every single day. They're getting 2 jobs a day very consistently if that's what they want. And the jobs range from $200 to $500 per job. And of course, a lot of people might say, well, 45%, like you're just putting 55% in your pocket. That's not fair. Well, you really can't do more than 45% paying out the guys because there's marketing costs, right? If you're doing, anywhere from 4 to 10 jobs a day, it costs money to get those customers, right? There's marketing costs, there's insurance costs, a few unexpected costs here and there, whatever you have going on as well. So if you look at it from a margin standpoint, 45% really is fair for the contractor, and it still makes it fair for yourself where you're making fair margins. And one thing that's been awesome about the 1099 is that you don't have to deal with BS. You don't really have to deal with as much BS. If there's been a lot of situations where something with the company van, the head bulb goes out, a bulb goes out, excuse me, the bulb on the headlight goes out, or something, and a little piece of equipment breaks, and now you got to go make a run in the middle of your work. There's a lot of things that would quickly interrupt that. And the nice thing about 1099 is, hey, you guys have the comfort of your own vehicle, your own equipment, your own chemicals. Honestly, the setup is better for you than what I can make for you. This is exactly what you want in your own setup. You can be as messy as you want. You can be as messy as you want. If you do a good job and you're nice, and, have good customer service, you can be as messy as you want in your car. The thing is when you're messy in my car, you're messy in my van, you're breaking equipment, it becomes an issue. These folks, they say, hey, we can set it up however we want, and a lot of people actually enjoy that 1099 setup. My guys are actually per hour, even after expenses of gas, their own chemicals, miles on their car, per hour they're still making more. They're making more than the 1099 setup, because at the end of the day, I pay them fairly. I pay them fair, and so they're making more. They're doing it from the comfort of their own vehicle, and I have to deal with less. I don't have to deal with as much stuff. Now, I do recommend to them, I say, hey, I recommend these chemicals, I recommend this equipment. You don't have to use it. This is my recommendation. This is what's worked for our guys in the past. I'm not saying you have to use it. I do look over everyone's setup, of course, before they start doing jobs with me and make sure, hey, that looks like a solid setup. One thing I will mention, you will not be able to hire anyone if you make them buy their own generator and water source. So if you are a detailing company where you carry your own water and power, which I highly recommend, a lot of people do not recommend. I'm in the Twin Cities, right? There's a lot of apartments here. I mean, to each their own. Some people just serve like nice suburban communities that don't have apartments. Well, we have apartments. So I highly recommend carrying your own water and power. If you carry your own water and power, then you should, and you're doing a 1099 model, you really should provide that for them. That's the one thing I do provide for the guys is a generator and a water tank. I usually provide them either a 16-gallon or a 25-gallon. Not huge, but it gets the job done with their personal car setup. You don't really want a 50-gallon tank in someone's personal car. That's going to be really hard on the transmission. So, water is very heavy, of course. So 16 to a 25-gallon in their car. You can provide that. You can provide that with a leader hose for them to their pressure washer, and then provide the generator. We just use a pretty standard is a Predator 2200, I believe. It's about $700. Get a good warranty on it. It's $850. So 2-year warranty. Anything you can replace it for any reason through Harbor Freight. That's what we do for the guys. If you don't do that, you probably won't be able to hire anyone because you're going to scare people off. You're definitely going to scare people off. A lot of people have their own generator, and a lot of people have their own, or excuse me, not a lot of people have their own generator, but everybody has their own equipment, right? All these detailers have their own personal equipment. A lot of detailers don't carry a water source and don't carry around a generator. So if you say to them, hey, just come start taking jobs with me. I know that, you could, you've been lacking on jobs a little bit. We can provide jobs. Yeah, of course, we're going to take a cut, but we can provide jobs consistently too. If you don't provide a generator and water source, so now I have to take jobs at a cut and you don't provide, $500 to $1,000 of equipment, I have to go buy that just to work with you, they're not going to be down. So you do have to provide that. That's the one thing. And then we have our guys sign a contract saying, hey, we're a 1099 employee. Northwoods Mobile Detailing owns the generator and water source. Everything else is our own responsibility. We sign a non-competing. They have a non-competing clause in there. If we catch you, competing with us on the job, there's a fine, things of that nature, and yeah, it ends up being good. You want to trust the guys you're with. We're very blessed to have good guys around me, and not every day is perfect, but most of the guys with me, they see that we do good work. I think the biggest thing that you're going to have with the guys, the biggest thing that you're going to have with these guys is if you do the 1099 model, these are guys who want to run their own detailing company or do have their own detailing company, and it's slow. That's what we found. And honestly, that's okay. I think that's okay. I really do, because you could see how there'd be a conflict of interest there, right? If they live in the same area as you and they want to have a detailing company that's like yours or bigger, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, we look at it as in, this is a good growing opportunity for you, and I'm here to support all my guys. I'm not the type of guy to say, hey, I'm gatekeeping information, I'm gatekeeping my business. But I help them, and I do give them advice along the way, because I do want them to have their own company. I do want them to succeed. I think there's plenty of room in the market. I don't gatekeep anything. So that could be a conflict of interest. We haven't had an issue with it so far, and I think you should take it in a positive way. But yeah, I think the 1099 model, if you want to scale quickly, it is superior. It definitely is superior, and it's a lot less hassle. Now, you will have a harder time finding employees. I mean, anyone can hop into a W-2 role and just detail the cars, and you can teach them and train them in. It's going to be a little hard to find 1099 employees, 100% worth it. And the cool part is, when you find a 1099 employee, they have their own equipment and they're ready to go. They probably care about detailing a lot. They're probably going to do a better job than a lot of the W-2 employees. So yeah, I was just talking with one of my detailing buddies about this, and he said he was going to try the W-2 setup. And it reminded me that I should make this video. So yeah, I recommend 1099. If you do W-2, a lot of detailers use W-2 and it works out well. There's not a right or wrong answer. What we've seen work is the 1099, and I think that you guys should try using the 1099 first before the W-2. But comment below if you use the W-2, if you like the W-2, prefer that, and I'm wrong. But yeah, it's a pleasure to speak with you guys. Thank you so much for hearing me out. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video here.